Still.
All right. Everybody stand up and pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have roll call, please.
Councilmember Rivas?
Here.
Councilmember Graham?
Here.
Councilmember Jessen?
Here.
Councilmember Larson? Councilmember Paparad?
Here.
Councilmember Sims?
Here.
Councilmember Wetton?
I am here.
Councilmember Larson?
All right, we've got approval of council minutes for budget reading September 15th, 2020, September 17th, 2020, and the regular council meeting September 22nd, 2020. Have you guys all received those?
Yep, make the motion.
There's a motion on the floor to approve. There's a second to approve all three meetings. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. First reading, please.
Notice is hereby given the taxpayers of Porter County, Indiana, that the proper legal officers of Porter County, Indiana will meet the Porter County Government Administration Building at Indiana Avenue on November 17, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. to consider the following appropriation adjustments to the county budget for the year 2020 and to transact any further business which might come before the council. General fund recorder, salary $62, sheriff, per $80,000, federal DOC 200, with a reduction from the $80,000. Accident report fund 1101, training and ed 4,000, equipment other than vehicles 4,500, CPD fund, motor vehicles 28,470 and 80 cents. County extradition fund, returning fugitives 8,000, firearms training fund, equipment other than vehicles 6,000, tax sales fees fund, contractual services 50,000, cable franchise fund, road and taxiways 150,000. Taxpayers appearing at such meetings shall have a right to be heard thereon. The appropriation adjustments that finally made will be referred to the Indiana Department of Local Government Finance, or applicable, the DLGF will make a written determination as to decision of these funds to support the appropriations made within 15 days of the receipt of a certified copy of the action statement. Signed, Mr. Ray, rather than the Porter County, November 6, 2020. Please proceed.
All right, thank you, Madam Auditor. Before we go, we've got a few people here. We've got a couple plaques here, you guys, that I want to give out while a few people are still here. You guys will run out of here and not get to appreciate. First, Jeff Larson, for your service. It's Council at Large in appreciation of outstanding service to the taxpayer of Porter County. Jeff. Plaque for you. We appreciate it. We all appreciate it. So, you know, I'm sure we'll see you around, but maybe afterwards we'll get a picture.
Yeah.
So, the other one is Dan Whitten. You guys, 16 years?
16 years.
16 years, you guys.
Continuous years?
16 continuous years. Unlike Pop Rod, I think it was 4 on, 4 off, 4 on, 4 off. Dan,
Thanks, Jeremy.
we all appreciate it. It's, you know, Jeff, I got to know Jeff, you know, over the last 4 years. It's been a lot of fun, you know, this council. Dan, you know, for what, 12 years almost now, serving with you. It's been up and down with Dan. Dan's beat my ass a couple times on some stuff, and, you know, we've come back and we've become really good friends. It's been a great ride with Dan. What he's done to this, you know, for this county has just been unbelievable. The time that he's put in as council president for how many of those years, Dan?
10, 11.
10, 11 years out of 16 years as council president is phenomenal. And this county is in great shape with Dan as president, you know, of this council. So it'd be crazy if we didn't take a minute to just, you know, thank Dan and recognize both Dan and Jeff's, you know, hard work on this council and this county. You know, I'm not sure what happened, but it is what it is, and, you know, we'll move forward, but Dan left a mark, that's for sure. Both Dan and Jeff left a mark, but, you know, after...
Look at our foundation.
Yeah.
He wrote the entire thing.
Yeah, Dan was part of putting the foundation together. You know, when we moved it over, when the legislation was written, Dan, I think with Scott, and, you know, really dug in and helped build that. And look where it's at today. So there's a lot, you know, we could look back on what these two have done, and, you know, we really appreciate it. And the taxpayers, they should really appreciate what you guys have done and the time you spent here, so.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
Anybody else would like to say a word about Dan and Jeff?
Dan took me under his wing and taught me what this whole thing was about, and I appreciate that, and I can appreciate how much of a mark he's left on this county that put us in good shape for years and years to come.
Who am I gonna argue with?
I think that.
Well, we're wrong regularly.
You and I will do fine. There might be one or two that come on here in January that you'll have just plenty of fun with.
Yeah, I'd like to say that, you know, I've been on the council since 14, so 6 years. Being on the council, you know, it's been a great experience for me, great learning opportunity for me. I always base, you know, public service. I believe the roles that we serve are in public service, and we should be public servants. And I believe Jeff and Dan both fill that very, very well. In terms of, you know, the local politics especially, I think partisanship, you can cast that aside and do what's best for the people. And I think both Jeff and Dan embody that spirit to say, you know, we're not going to worry about one party or another. We're a group, in this case, it's 170,000 people roughly that share similar views, similar goals and expectations and hopes and dreams, and it's our job to do what we can to help facilitate that. The value, when I look at people in these roles, it's all about the value they bring to the table. I mean, what do they contribute? What do they help move forward? What sort of opportunities they create for in this case, the county? And both Jeff and Dan have been great examples of being willing to put themselves first, to put party and partisan politics aside, to do what's best for the county. And very clearly, the progress that we've made throughout the county over the course of the last, you know, at least in my experience, 6 years plus, is due in large part to Dan's leadership throughout that time, and Jeff's involvement as well. And so I can tell you, I appreciate that work and effort that you put into it, and also the mentoring and so forth that you've provided to this group. And certainly the leadership will be missed. And so I personally just want to thank you for the work and effort that you've done, both Dan and Joe.
Appreciate that, Mike. Thank you very much.
Greg, anything?
Someone said.
Ditto. Jeff? Add anything to the floor?
No, it's just been a pleasure serving with you guys, and, you know, the circumstances this year have been difficult for us to get together and kind of communicate, and I think we've done a pretty remarkable job with all of our department heads and stuff, being able to get things done and keep the county open and running. You know, there's a lot that goes into this. Anybody that's interested in this should take this as fair warning. There's a lot more here than meets the eye. So be ready to spend a lot of time in the trenches getting things done. I think we have one of the best counties in the state as far as the traveling I've done in the state, as far as leadership and department heads. I think we're second to none. And I know our sheriff's department is outstanding. Our health department through this COVID thing has been amazing. And it's just been a great situation for me to be involved in. And Dan really gave me a hard time when I first ran, and it was fun, you know, running out there. And I think that that's just his personality. And, you know, when you get to know him, I really enjoyed working with him. And I think his leadership is, like I would definitely echo what Mike said, it's going to be missed here because the knowledge that he brings to the table is going to be sorely missed here. So thanks for all the work.
I appreciate that very much, man. Thank you.
Dan?
What more can I say? Guys, I've had the opportunity to work with all of you and other council members before you, and it's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun working with you guys. We've faced some challenges and we've overcome them, and I've come to think of all of you as good friends, and I'm going to miss you, you know, working with you. But you know, I was telling my wife, you know, that my life has been one chapter to another of public service through my time in the service and my time as a police officer and then my time up here. It's been chapters of public service, and this has been a good one. This has been a good one for me. So, thanks for all your help. Thanks for the kind words, Jeff. I feel the same way about you. I'm going to miss it, but all good things must end.
See, I don't think you're done.
I don't know about that. So, but thanks a lot for your kind words, guys. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, well, let's get into what we do here. Alta, you said you've got somewhere to go. Come on up. We'll run through this. So, you guys don't mind page 3. Looks like Portage Township Assessor Reassessment Fund, there's a transfer of $2,000 from contractual services to data processing. Transfer needed to purchase a computer to work remotely during COVID-19 pandemic.
Motion.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. Discussion?
Pardon me. Will this all be submitted as part of the CARES dollars to be reimbursed?
I don't know, you'd have to ask Vicki about that.
Vicki?
I didn't quite, get the
For the money that we're using in this case to buy the computer to work remotely for COVID, is that part of the CARES submission?
I think we closed that off last time, Mike, yeah. I mean, we were submitting to get all that reimbursed through payroll, I believe,
Okay.
so. Any other questions?
With this $20 million supplement that you're talking about for the enforcement of COVID and all that business from the state, last I read was going to be a supplement to the last go-around. Is that anything that we can tap into?
As of this afternoon, I heard an email from the AIC, and they're still working on the process for applying, but we'll be working with the Health Department to apply, or whatever other agency. We will definitely do that. They're working on a radio promotion program so that each county could get a portion of the radio advertising. So I'll keep you informed.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, thank you. All right, Commissioners, General Fund, we've got a couple transfers and a couple additionals. Looks like there's a transfer, $3,000, supplemental to legal notices, appropriation is depleted. Lit Fund, a transfer, $45,000 contractual services to interfund transfer, money needed to support MOH Fund, staff being moved around. CCD, there's an additional $28,470 to motor vehicles. Reason, appropriation is depleted. There's a transfer, $100,000 from building to power, $50,000 from buildings to unemployment. Appropriations are depleted. Cable franchise, additional $150,000 to roads and taxiways. Appropriation is depleted. The additional will come from the NDOT reimbursement.
I'll make a motion for discussion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. Discussion. Did you?
I'll let you guys go. That's why I just wanted to open it up for
Oh,
discussion.
has anybody got any
I
questions?
thought you were loaded for bear then.
Yeah.
It's not like you-
I would be, but, you know,
It's our last meeting.
it's our last
That's the
meeting.
point.
Why make it a tough one?
You and I can argue.
One thing that, Scott, maybe you can talk about is the one transfer for the lit fund, which is, for Memorial Opera House. Just maybe touch on what we're doing with those. We have a couple of employees that were off on furlough that are no longer on furlough, but they're helping another department. You want to explain that just a little bit?
Yeah, we had, of the remaining employees that were furloughed, we were down to 2 full-time and a couple of what we call the essential part-time, the 29-hour week people. Of those, we've been able to bring the 2 full-time and the 29-hour part-time back. They are, obviously don't have enough to do at the Memorial Opera House right now, but what they are doing is being sent to different departments that need to have extra help, such as the health department or facilities or wherever they may be needed. Those individual departments, when they utilize them, are then paying for that day, that 4-hour block, whatever it may be, and then that's getting paid back to the Memorial Opera House Fund. And in working with Vicki on the behind-the-scenes financial part, that's why the money's at the Memorial Opera House, to make those employees will still be getting paid from there. However, if they've spent the last week in the health department helping answering phones or whatever it may be, the health department, with the help of, we'll be getting an invoice, and then we have a behind-the-scenes of making sure it gets all reconciled. But these people are actually working somewhere else. They're not just over at the Memorial Opera House. So they are filling the gaps so that they can be back to their full-time wage that they were on the salary schedule for. So basically, we're trying to make sure that we're getting, as much time for them somewhere else so that they're working and being productive. And so far, they've been willing to basically do anything they've been asked. They've been out doing mask monitoring. They've helped with the health department answering phones, front desk.
One of them worked in the election?
Yep, we had one of them help with on the elections before and after. So between elections and between the health department and the front desk and the clerk's office, there's plenty for. Right now, we're talking about trying to find 3 people enough to do, which has not been much of a hurdle so far. So.
Yeah, I mentioned that just to say that I appreciate the creative thinking, to say that we want to bring our employees back to full employment just as quickly as we can. And in this particular case, there's a need elsewhere. We want to bring them back. There's a need elsewhere. They're willing to do that. They're filling that need, and it's a perfect opportunity to bring people back to work. So I congratulate the Commissioner's office on that work.
Well, and I want to be clear, Jeremy worked very hard trying to figure out how to make it work correctly. A lot of meetings, and so I would appreciate the council's work with helping get there, and obviously with what's proposed today. But I mean, ultimately, we're hoping that this can go a long way, because ultimately it shouldn't all be being utilized just for paying them. Other departments ultimately are getting 80-90% of that tab.
And this is something that Dan kind of pushed me on to, being that we're going into the holiday season, and we had employees out there that were at home, and let's get, our family, make sure they're all back to work and going into the holiday season. So, talking to Dan, I worked with Scott and the commissioners a little bit to make sure that we can get our employees back to work as, the holidays came upon.
And specifically, the health department is in definite need of them. So I think that helps on all fronts. That's good.
Makes a lot more sense to bring our furloughed people back instead of hire new, so.
Amen.
We got anything else on, I apologize, was that motion on all?
It was.
All
Second
transfers
was
and
as well.
additionals?
Yep, second was as well.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Can we get a roll call, Madam Auditor?
Councilmember Grant,
Yes.
Councilmember Jefferson,
Yes.
Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad,
Yes.
Councilmember Finn,
Yes.
Councilmember Witten,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
7-0.
Okay, and, yes, Scott?
And just to add a little bit to the earlier, I will always owe a debt of gratitude to Mr. Witten. When I became the council attorney, he was the president, and there was a lot of mentoring, a lot of years of learning how the behind-the-scenes nitty-gritty of exactly how this finances work, exactly how the funds work, and so a lion's share of the knowledge I have came from Dan slowly over the years, especially in those first years when, obviously, as you guys all know, all of you at some point were first-year council women. It's slightly overwhelming, the size and breadth of what actually this council has to deal with on a regular basis. And so I know that I wouldn't be in the position I am in now if I hadn't had that kind of mentoring and tutoring then. So I want to say you guys are losing more experience than you can imagine, but I think it's a time to celebrate some of the accomplishments. Most of those were mentioned earlier, one of them being the foundation. I know that there was a tremendous amount of push behind the scenes to try to get that done, and if you look back at what this council and the commissioners did at that time to put all of that together, that was a lot more work was done to get us from point A to point B than I think is recognized moving forward. But I just wanted to say publicly that again, that debt of gratitude for the mentoring and the tutoring along the way, I'll never forget, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Thanks.
He and we trained you for the commissioners.
And I thank you for that.
Public defender. Public defender supplemental, there's a transfer of $5,400 from training.
Motion.
There's a motion?
Second.
Motion second on the floor, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Larson, Mr. Whitten, thank you for your support always.
Always have it.
Thank you. Treasurer, tax sale fee fund, additional $50,000 to contractual services. Reason, tax sale, estimated fees for redemptions made in 2020.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, couple seconds on the floor, discussion. Can we get a roll call?
Councilmember Jessen,
Yes.
Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
Councilmember Papera,
Yes.
Councilmember Sims.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
and Councilmember Graham.
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see.
Recorder, Recorder's General Fund, an additional. How dare they put an additional on the budget here? $62.
Second.
There's a motion second on the floor for $62 additional. Discussion, roll call.
Councilmember Larson,
Yes.
Councilmember Papera,
Yes.
Councilmember Sims,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas.
Yes.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen.
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you to Treasurer sorely missed. I
Thanks,
remember when
Chuck.
I first came in, as coroner years ago, I was scared to death to come in front of the council, and I remember helping me through the first meeting, and I'll never forget that, so thank you very much for both your services.
Take care, Chuck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sheriff, we got a few things going on here. Sheriff General Fund, additional $8,000 to PERF, cover shortage in the police pension. There's a transfer of $10,000 from salaries to PERF, cover shortage in the police pension. And we get into accident report, there's an additional $4,000 to training and education. Reason.
There's a
accident-
motion on the first floor there to the federal.
There's a motion on the first four, one,
Chair, I'd like to add something before you do that.
You're adding something?
oh,
Well, no, I'd like to ask you about it.
Okay.
The 10,000 transferred from unused salaries to the pension, I wanted to change that to 20. It is a transfer. I didn't know if we could do that or not. This would be for worst-case scenario, if we got no money from the paper servers, absolutely no money at all, I would need to
Do
use
that without
that.
advertising, Vic?
We can do a transfer.
is that okay? with- Yeah?
Yes.
I'll amend my motion to include the extra 10,000.
Second.
So, and the transfer, so it goes from $10,000 to $20,000 from salaries to PERF. So then there's the one transfer, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additionals? Is that what you guys were speaking of?
Yep.
On the motion?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
5 additionals, 1 transfer, there's motion and a second. Discussion. We get a roll call.
Councilmember Papera,
Yes.
Councilmember Sims,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen,
Yes.
and Councilmember Larson.
Yes.
7-0.
All right, I think here's the other side of the coin. Federal, the DOC, it's jail, 1217 general fund, a reduction $80,000 to food and groceries to cover sheriff's pension shortage in 2020. There's a transfer of $40,000, medical and hospital service, to overtime.
Motion.
There's a motion on the reduction and the transfer, correct?
Yes.
Second.
Second, discussion. Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Councilmember Sims,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitten,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Jessen,
Yes.
Councilmember Larson,
Yes.
and Councilmember Papera.
Yes.
7-0.
Is that it?
Can I say
You
something?
absolutely can have the floor.
First of all, I want to explain to you what's going on in the jail. I think it's important for you to kind of, we haven't had a positive since mid-April, but what's going on in the state and really in the county, we've worked with, the last 2 days with probation, prosecutor, and basically go back the way we were from a law enforcement standpoint and that's kind of affecting what you guys just voted on, because our civil process, our warrants are probably going to go down. The arrest will go down on nonviolent violation of probation offenders. So we're kind of trying to stay ahead of the curve. We don't want it to just balloon and then do something. I can't say enough about the probation department and prosecutor's office. Obviously, the judges go along with it, but who really controls it is the probation department. They really, so we've been working with them the last 2 days. So I just want to let you know that, as Jeff said, Mr. Larson said, our county, there's a lot of moving parts. And when you have something like this, you have to all be working together. And I'm telling you, it was like talking to you guys. They understood and they didn't argue. And there was some major decisions made, which will affect, it won't affect the public safety at all, but it will affect how we operate our jail. And, you know, we didn't want to lose that part. So I just kind of want to let you know. This is my 14th year. I'm finishing up my 14th year, Sheriff. And I've gone through a lot of councils, and probably could write a book on some of the things that we dealt with. And I understand the jail, what we do has a lot, we do a lot of stuff. We ask for a lot, we're always asking. And because that's just how we operate, and we won't get anything unless we try to move things around. We added up this year that we've saved, we have $800,000 in grants that we got this year. And that's just not me, that's a lot of people writing grants, you know, from Homeland Security to DOC, how we operate our jail. And it really impacts how you guys do your work, because that's $800,000 I'm not asking for. But I'm telling you right now, we wouldn't have been able to pull any of this off if it wasn't for the county council. And this is one of the best county councils I've worked with. And I really can't say enough about you, Dan. You've been a very, not only a friend, but supporter of the sheriff's office. And Jeff, too. Every time I would call any of you guys, you always, number one, you know how I am, you call me back. It's pretty cool that you call me back. And I am probably always asking for something. But I'm trying, the way I operate, I try to explain what we're doing. And not that I get everything I ask for, but I know it's just, I think we all agree, and you said it best too, it's not like I'm sitting here as a Democrat or Republican, I'm sitting here as a sheriff, and I think, you know how much I respect every one of you guys, and you're going to be missed. So, thank you, and you'll be missed too. So, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Good evening.
Well, if I could just say something as you walk away, Sheriff, you know, there's a lot of stupid rhetoric out there, but I can tell you, over the time that I've been here, with the leadership of Councilman Witten, that we funded the police.
Yes.
So,
That should be, you get that?
you get all the bullshit out there.
I think there's something else that goes with that, though, and that's leadership in that department. When you have confidence in people that are doing those jobs,
That's right.
there's not a question as to how we fund it, because we'll find a way. And that says a lot for your leadership, Dave. So,
Yeah, it's been easy decisions. You're exactly right.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Good evening.
thanks, Dave. It's been a pleasure.
All right, Parks and Recreation, wildlife management donations, a transfer $10,000 from event expenses to building and structures, tree removal at Zona Wildlife Sanctuary. Oh, Lord.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Where to begin? What? Do you have something? No. Okay, great.
Wait, Walter, why don't you just explain where we're at? We had some progress made today at the Commissioners' meeting, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. The Commissioners passed a concurrent resolution with the Park Board that authorizes them to convey title to the property to the Park Board as planned, so that's a very successful step. So thank you guys for supporting that. To date, what we've done is we were able to hire a local contractor who brought a crew and specialized equipment in to clear all of the deadfall and all of the widowmakers. One of my staff members made a comment that it is now the safest trail in Porter County.
Oh, good.
There's there's always deadfall and widowmakers on trails everywhere, except that one right now. So that has been completed. Based on the balance of the fund, we will now look at the next step in deferred maintenance, which the big issue is the bridge. We believe that with the funds that are remaining in the Zona donation fund, that we will be able to completely rebuild the bridge. So unfortunately, the debris had completely moved the pilings off of their support. The cost to repair was nearly the exact same as replace, so the park board instructed us to replace the bridge. So I'm hoping that could actually be done by the end of the year.
Do you have a vision for that park at this point, Walter? Do you guys have the park board, have they discussed where they'd like to see that park go, or are they trying to, you know, I mean, I know that's a big question to ask since we're now just funding it, but, you know, I know there's gonna be some key elements that you're gonna be in charge of out there, so I didn't know if you guys had a different direction for that, or?
The only change in direction in my mind, the park board has addressed it, nothing formal or official yet. I've urged them to leverage the master plan process, which will begin in earnest next year, to incorporate that as a special area of focus. But I would imagine that we'll be augmenting the plan. So that includes marketing the property more so folks know it's accessible, naturalist programs on site once in a while, things of that nature just to attract attention.
Cool. Good to hear that you guys are gonna utilize that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in the meantime, the park remains closed, or sanctuary remains closed?
Correct, yes, the gates are still locked. The park board has said that essentially once we get that bridge fixed, we can look at then opening it up. The rest of the deferred maintenance, you know, it's picnic benches and signs and things of that nature, not...
You probably, through the winter, you probably keep that thing closed, you think? I mean...
I'm interested in opening it up as soon as possible,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
Good.
We're working with NERC for a plan to get a bunch of new trail counters for really cheap, so I'm dying to open it up and throw a trail counter up there and see what kind of traction we get. So.
Good, progress.
Very good.
Good.
All right, all in favor of the $10,000 transfer, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Walter.
Yeah, Jeff, just echo all the comments. Thank you so much. You guys have been stalwarts. You know, Jeff, well prior to being on the council, serving on our foundation board, and
Yep, I might be back, you never know.
I'm always, that's right, I was going to make Jeff, now in your free time, we have a couple open slots on the foundation board. But thank you all, both very much for your service. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Paul.
Have a good night.
Take care.
All right, EMA, there's a transfer of $2,000 from training and education. Is a motion, a second? No?
Second.
Second. Lance did call me, he said that they are all quarantined right now, so I told him to not worry about it. So it's to purchase additional PPE and supplies. I told him I didn't think there'd be a problem, so he did call me. So there's a motion, a second on the floor. All in favor of the transfer, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, extension. We got an general fund, a transfer of $4,000 from travel.
Motion.
Motion, a second on the floor. Discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
And I want to thank you. Appreciate it.
Got it.
Have a great night.
Thank you. All right, took care of Portage Township Council, general fund, a transfer of $5,000 from hourly interfund transfer. This just goes along with
Motion.
us, you know, showing the support of putting our employees back to work. Motion a second. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Superior Court Bradford, they contacted me, asked, and I said no, not with everything going on, $150 transfer. I said, you're fine.
Motion.
Motion on the floor for $150 transfer from training ed to office fixtures. Most, second on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Auditor, general fund transfer,
Motion for Vicki.
$40,000. Motion, a second for Vicki. Discussion. I just want to say that, Vicki, you win the award for the best face covering today.
Thank you.
You also for the most improvement in the office, so.
Absolutely.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I believe that is it. Second reading.
Whereas it has been determined that it's now necessary to appropriate more money than what is considered in the annual budget, therefore be it ordained by the Portage County Council of Portage County, Indiana, that for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sums of money are hereby hereby appropriated out of the fund statement of purposes specified by this law governing the same. General fund, a total of $52. Accident report fund, $8,500. CCD fund, $28,470.80. County requisition fund, $8,000. Firearms training, $6,000. Tax sale fees fund, $50,000. And cable franchise fund, $150,000. And that completes second reading.
There you have it.
Motion?
Motion on the floor? Or second reading, second? Roll call.
Councilmember Benton,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivas,
Yes.
Councilmember Graham,
Yes.
Councilmember Justin,
Yes.
Councilmember Larson,
Yes.
Councilmember Caparad,
Yes.
and Councilmember Stan.
Yes.
7 to 0.
Attorney's report.
There is nothing to report tonight. I just wanted to, without beating a dead horse, I don't want to go over ground that's been covered, but I'm going to miss both of you guys, and you are both friends, and I'm going to miss you guys.
Well, I'm going to use a famous line from Dan Whitten when we would always ask for attorney's report, and the attorney would say, I have nothing. Dan would say, well, that's money well spent. So, all right, we have the 2021 Porter County salary ordinance.
You might recall that at the last meeting, we gave you copies of the ordinance, and to the extent that we could, we reviewed everything, and it all seemed as you approved. So there were no changes, so all we need to do is formalize the approval of it and sign the signature.
So do you need another vote from us, or are you just saying, since there's no change?
I think we have to make a motion and vote on it, don't we?
Are you saying we already did that, or not?
The salary ordinance?
Last month at your October meeting, we passed out the draft ordinance.
Do we vote on it?
Pardon?
Do we vote on it?
Not at the
You want
last
to vote to
meeting.
be sure?
I would say that we should.
Motion to
The
approve.
attorney says.
There's a motion
Second?
and a second on the floor to approve the 2021 salary ordinance. Let's get a roll call.
Councilmember Rivas?
Yes.
Councilmember Graham?
Yes.
Councilmember Justin?
No.
Councilmember Larson?
Yes.
Councilmember Paparad?
Yes.
Councilmember Finn?
Yes.
And Councilmember Webb?
Yes.
6 to 1.
All right. Just one quick thing before we get out of here. My idea was to not have a meeting in December. I don't know, Laura said there might be something coming up. If we have to do a special meeting, I'll figure it out with you guys. If we got to do it Zoom real fast, something with the health department, you know, if it's COVID-related, and it's something we may absolutely have to do, but I'll try to make it as painless as possible with everything that's going on, but I will keep you guys informed. And just real quick, you know, the last meeting, we, you know, with the corner in front of us, there was some discussion about suicide in the county, and I just want to say that Greg Sims took that football and ran with it. He had a meeting, he put together some people, and they sat down a little round table. I was under quarantine at the minute, but Greg, you know, real quick, you want to briefly describe what you're doing?
Sure.
To the rest of the council?
It's like a Porter County Suicide Awareness Task Force, we're calling it. We took 10 people from various entities in the county, and we basically had a discussion about what's going on with suicides, why is it happening, what can we do to try and curtail it if possible. And we started compiling a bunch of information.
This Davey out.
And some of it's a little,
Good job.
I don't know, like, white males seem to be the biggest group that is committing suicide, and 40 to 55-ish range. And we're trying to, you know, why? And then what was really interesting is the group of people that were there, they started putting stuff out there, and others are going, I didn't know that was available, and I didn't know that was available. So now by that discussion, we realize that we've got a lot of resources within our group already that we just need to be aware of to kind of try and move forward. We've got a couple of the communities that want to donate some money if possible, so it won't cost, if we want to get brochures or something going, it won't cost the county any money. But people are really enthused about getting on board to try and curtail this, and if we can stop one person from hurting themselves, then it's well worth it. One of the most encouraging things is the meeting was about an hour and a half, and about halfway into it, I already had people saying, well, when are we meeting again? And that really encouraged me to say, wow, these people they really want to try and help out, and they know it's important, and it's important for our community. And, yeah, it was very, it was very good. And I'll briefly say, one of the things that a couple things really quick, found out that one of the reasons why people commit suicide is they're lonely. And our Porter County Animal Shelter has a program that if someone's lonely, we'll get an animal to them, and that could curtail it, because now they've got something to live for, to care for, and that takes some of the loneliness away. And I'm like, okay, things we don't normally think about. And one of the other things was kids paying attention to people in the workplace. For example, I had one of my senior classes, we were talking about this, and the next day he said, hey, you work at White Castle. And he goes, hey, I was listening to this one guy in the back room kind of talking about some things that didn't sound very, it sounded a little weird. And I said, well, what exactly did he say? He goes, well, life maybe not worth it, and blah, blah. And I said, oh, my God, you better call a manager and have a discussion there, because he might be reaching out for some help. So he got taken care of, and then the very next day, I had a kid that he had to go to the bathroom, and he wanted, it was kind of a joke, go in 30 seconds. He came back 40 seconds later, and we're, kind of, ha-ha, you were late. And he goes, I think I saw something weird going on. There was a kid in the bathroom kind of doing a little circle thing, and it looked odd. And he had marks on his arm. Like, oh, my gosh. So we got a resource officer down there, and sure enough, the kid was hurting himself and reaching out, and it's like, oh, my God. And I really believe, and this kid's a really good kid, that if we didn't have that conversation, he might have just ignored it and just, whatever. So those are two, little subtle things that already seem to make a bit of a difference, and it's like, holy cow. But we got, I was just extremely encouraged, and our next meeting is December 10th. So you guys are all welcome to come by if you like, and just, again, it's discussion-based, and we're just trying to get some things. And one of the things, too, I want to get is I'm looking at the report for, like here, just to give you an idea. In 2016, we had 26 suicides, 17 we had 35, and 18 we had 27, and 19 we had 24, and 26, and 2020, so far we have 26. So, we're kind of on pace to kind of be the second highest in the last 5 years. And what I'd like to do is get the coroner to give us a little bit more information about who these people are, because maybe there's a workplace out there that, who knows what company, but maybe something's going in the company and we got 4 or 5 out of there. Well, let's get a program together where we can go there, talk to these people, and reach out and say, hey, we got some resources, or we'll get some pamphlets or whatever it is. And the other thing, too, that I found out is Porter Stark had some money allocated from a federal program to reach out to veterans. And he goes, I don't know who to contact. I'm like, oh, my God, Jim Atkinson. So the next day I made a call to Jim, and I said, hey, we got some money available. Are you interested? Heck, yeah. So now that meeting connected some dots. So that's, and in a quick nutshell, that's, what's going on. So again, if anyone wants to help out or have some insights, we are more than happy to, there's no egos in the room. It's all about trying to help our community, and, and
thank you, Barry. And again, I think that just shows what this council's been doing over the years. So, well, guys, I'm not sure about next month, but, Jeff, Dan, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jeremy, I appreciate it.
Happy holidays. You guys, I would like to get a quick, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
The motion? Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Here's Danny. Get a quick picture, you guys.